Welcome to Whispers of the Bayou, where stories flow as deep as the Mississippi and secrets linger like the morning mist. Here, we uncover the lost tales of the South, the folklore, the mysteries, and the spirits that still roam these winding waters. Some stories are passed down in hushed voices, others are hidden in plain sight, but every whisper has a tale to tell. So pull up a chair, pour yourself some sweet tea or a little something stronger, and listen close. Because in the bayou, the past is never too far behind. Tonight, we will whisper the story of the curse of Belle LaRue. Belle LaRue was the kind of woman men wrote songs about. Born and raised in the heart of New Orleans, she was beauty and grace, wrapped in warm brown skin, with eyes like deep river water and a laugh that could turn the darkest day to gold. Her family came from old Creole blood, and though they had no great fortune, they had something better: respect. She married Etienne Boudreau, a man with a silver tongue and the charm of a gambler. Belle loved him fiercely, and for a time, it seemed he loved her the same. Their home on Royal Street was filled with music, candlelight, and the scent of fresh magnolias. But jealousy is a wicked thing, and wicked things have a way of creeping in when you least expect them. The woman's name was Manette. She was nothing like Belle. Where Belle was kind, Manette was cruel. Where Belle was soft, Manette was sharp. Folks whispered that she dabbled in the old ways, the dark ways, though no one dared say it to her face, and she wanted what Belle had. She had wanted Etienne from the moment she saw him laughing in Jackson Square, his arm draped around Belle's waist. She wanted his love, his devotion, his name, but she knew she could never have it naturally. So she took another path. One night she went to see Maman Celeste, a woman known to work with roots, bones, and shadows. "Give me a spell," Manette demanded, "one to make him mine." Maman Celeste studied her, her old eyes knowing. "You ask for trouble, girl. I ask for what's owed to me." And so, the old woman sighed and gave Manette what she asked for: a spell bound in wax and river clay, soaked in blood and bitter herbs. Manette buried it beneath Belle and Etienne's doorstep, and just like that, the man who had once sworn his life to Belle began to change. At first, it was small things. Etienne forgot to kiss Belle goodbye before leaving for work. Then, he stopped coming home before dark. Then, he stopped coming home at all. Belle felt it like a sickness in her bones. One night, when the rain poured heavy on the city, she followed him. Through the narrow streets, past the iron gates of the quarter, down to a little house near the swamp, where she saw him wrapped in Manette's arms. Belle did not cry. She did not scream. She simply stood in the rain, whispering to herself, "That woman did something unnatural." And she was right. Weeks later, Manette strutted through the marketplace, her belly round with child, smug as a cat in cream. Belle, heartbroken and humiliated, packed her things and left. She would not stay where she was not wanted. But New Orleans don't take kindly to women who steal what ain't theirs. And the spirits? They were watching. As months passed, Etienne began to change again. But this time, it wasn't because of any spell. His once handsome face grew haggard. His business began to fail. His pockets grew empty. He found no peace in his new home, for Manette was not Belle. There was no warmth in her, no kindness, no laughter. And when the baby was born, Etienne's misery turned to terror. The child was not right. His skin was too pale, his eyes too black, like the deep water where the swamp swallows lost souls. He never cried, never laughed, just stared. Etienne, once a proud man, began to shrink beneath the weight of his own sins. "Manette," he whispered one night, voice shaking, "what did you do?" But Manette just smiled, a slow creeping thing. "I did what I had to do." And that was when the house began to rot from the inside out. The walls wept with moisture. The air thickened like a swamp in July. Food spoiled overnight, and at dusk, strange whispers crawled through the rafters. Etienne dreamed of shadows curling around his throat, of Belle's voice calling from beyond the veil. And the baby? The baby watched it all. Belle, meanwhile, had made peace with her pain. She had found refuge with her aunt in Trem, where women knew how to heal both body and soul. She did not curse Etienne, nor did she seek revenge, but the spirits had their own justice. One evening, as Belle walked along the riverbank, an old woman called to her from a rocking chair. "Child," she said, "you got sorrow hanging on you like wet clothes." Belle sighed. "He was my husband." The woman nodded. "And now he pays for what he'd done." She spit into the dirt. The spirits, they don't like when love is stolen. They don't like when good women suffer. Belle did not ask what that meant. She only bowed her head, for she already felt it in her bones. That night, Etienne woke to a sound he could not place. At first he thought it was the baby crying, but no, the child only ever stared. Then he heard it again, scratching, long, slow, deliberate. It came from the front door, from the walls, from under the floorboards. Then a voice, "Etienne." He froze. The voice was soft, familiar, laced with sorrow, but stronger now, touched by something ancient. Belle. She had not called for him, but something had. The room turned ice cold. The candles flickered out. Manette, sleeping beside him, sat up with a sharp breath, her eyes wide with terror. Then the baby began to laugh. A strange, high-pitched sound, nothing like a child should make. Manette screamed, and then the walls collapsed inward. The house groaned, as if the very earth rejected it. Shadows twisted and reached for them, pulling, dragging, taking back what was never meant to be. When the neighbors arrived the next morning, there was nothing left. No house, no Manette, no child, only Etienne's body face down in the mud, his hands clawed into the earth as if he had tried to crawl away from something terrible. Belle never spoke of him again. Some say she found love again, a man worthy of her heart. Others say she lived her days alone but content, her beauty untouched by time. But those who walk past that cursed patch of land at night sometimes hear whispers in the wind, a woman's voice, soft but strong, saying, "What's stolen must always be returned." And in the distance, if you listen close, you might just hear a baby laughing. Moral of the story: jealousy might take what it wants, but the spirits always take what they're owed. The bayou never forgets, and neither do its whispers. If you've enjoyed your time here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. because there's always another tale waiting in the dark. Have a story of your own? Drop it in the comments below. Who knows? It just might be our next whisper. Until next time, keep your ears open, because down in the bayou, the past is never as far away as you think.